In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to work my favorite right-leaning double knit increase. An increase, a lot like a lifted increase that leans very nicely to the right, great for shaping thumb gussets or sweaters, whatever you need in double knitting. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Here is my little sample swatch. We work as normal up to the stitch that we want to increase off of. So that is this next stitch here. And remember that in double knitting, we work with double stitch pairs. So we work with two stitches as if, not as if they're one stitch, but they are a team. Whatever we do to one stitch, we have to do to the other one as well. So to make a right leaning increase in double knitting, I'm going to work up into this stitch, and then I'm going to use my right hand needle tip to pick up from inside out the leg, the closest leg, right leg of the stitch below the one that's actually on the needle. So this one here. I'm going to reach in there and pick it up and lift it up onto the needle, and I'm going to knit into that. So there's my increased stitch. Now, before working the next increase off of the purl stitch, we're going to bring both of our yarns to the front. And then we are going to increase off of this purl stitch. This is the one that was the second part of our DSP. So we're going to do a similar step, a lifted increase off of this stitch here. So this is the loop that's on the needle. We're going to go to the stitch below it, the loop below it. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift from the inside out this closest leg and purl it, pick it up and slip it onto the needle tip, the left hand needle tip, and we are going to purl that one. So there is our purl increase. Slip that off there. Okay, now move our yarns to the back. So now what we have is we have created this DSP here by doing lifted increases off of these two stitches here. Now, I'm not going to work these next two stitches because I find it gives a bulkier fabric. I'm going to just go ahead and slip them as if to purl. So I'm going to slip that first one, bring both of my yarns to the front, and slip the second one and bring both of my yarns to the back, so that I ended up with a newly created DSP right here. And there's the DSP that we are working off of, just slipped, and there we have a nice right leaning decrease coming off of that. So I'm going to do it one more time here. I'm just going to work one DSP normal, a knit, bring both of my yarns to the front, and a purl, bring both of my yarns to the back. Okay, so here's our DSP. This is where we want to create the increase. Like I said, it is very similar to a lifted increase. We'll work it on both sides. So here's our first side. We're going to go from the inside out of this closest leg, right below that one, lift it up and put it on our needle and knit into it. Bring both yarns to the front. Flip our fabric over and find our purl stitch here, the loop below it. Same thing from inside to out. We're going to pick up that closest leg. We're going to pull it up onto the needle, and we are going to purl that stitch. Move both yarns to the back, and then slip this original knit stitch, move both yarns to the front, slip the purl stitch, move both yarns to the back. And then you can continue on with your day. But that is a right leaning double knit increase. I have a tutorial for a left leaning double knit increase that has worked similarly, so check that out, and more tutorials on double knitting.